All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the source material behind what some are calling a Republican golden ticket for 2028. Is there a plan already in the works for the party's future? Let's get into it. So, what's the ticket that's got everyone talking? According to our sources, it's a powerhouse combo: J.D. Vance for president and Marco Rubio for vice president. And the word that keeps popping up to describe them? Unstoppable. So, the big question is, right? Is this just a rumor, or is there actually something more to it? Well, we're going to break down the evidence from our source material. We're talking quotes, data, insider stories that all seem to suggest this could be more than just speculation. It might just be a plan. Okay, so where did this whole idea even come from? Well, the source material points a finger at one person really acting as the catalyst here: Donald Trump. And boom, here it is, the quote that really lit the fuse. According to the source, Trump himself was the first one to use that really powerful word, unstoppable, to describe what a Vance/Rubio partnership could look like. That choice of words is, well, it's pretty significant. And look, this wasn't just some off-the-cuff remark. What the source material lays out here is a pattern. You can see how Trump has been strategically planting these seeds, right? He starts with private whispers and then moves to very, very public statements. You're basically watching a narrative get built in real time. Okay, so you've got Trump floating this idea, but what about the guys themselves? How are Vance and Rubio actually reacting to all this chatter? Their responses, both in public and in private, they paint a really fascinating picture. Well, if you look at what he's saying in public, Marco Rubio is basically rolling out the red carpet for Vance. This interview, which our source highlights, it sounds a lot like an early endorsement, doesn't it? He's pretty much giving his full support for a Vance run in 2028. But, and this is where it gets really interesting, behind closed doors, the vibe seems to be a little different. An anecdote that our source pulls from a Vanity Fair article shows this friendly, yet but also super competitive rivalry bubbling just under the surface. So you see this, right? It's this wild dynamic. Publicly, it's all after you, very polite, with Rubio deferring and Vance calling it premature. But in private, you can feel that competitive energy. It's this contrast that makes the whole idea of them teaming up so compelling. All right, so the personal dynamics are fascinating, for sure. But what do the numbers say, and who else might be getting on board with this idea? According to the source, this is where the theory really starts to gain some serious weight. Okay, check this out. One poll our source points to isn't just showing a lead for Vance, it's showing a huge lead. A number like that, this far out, well, supporters say that's proof that the path is already being paved for him to be the undisputed frontrunner. And it's not a one-off either. Here's another poll that tells a very similar story, with Vance way out in front again. The source also makes a really critical point here. His closest allies, like Donald Trump Jr., probably wouldn't run against him. That would just make his position even stronger. And then you've got the wild cards, right? The big players on the outside. The source brings up someone like Elon Musk. Now that's a big deal, not just because of the money and attention it could bring, but because it would also mean a major change in Musk's own political thinking. Okay, so let's take a step back and put all these pieces together. You've got the Trump endorsement, you've got the public and private dance between the candidates, you've got the polling. What's the final picture this source material is painting for us? And this is really the core of the argument from the source material. It's not just one thing, it's a sequence. First, you have Trump creating the narrative. Then, you have Rubio seeming to agree to it publicly. The data backs it up, and the end result? A powerful alliance. When you see it all laid out like this, it really does look like a plan in motion. So this all leads to the one big question our source material leaves us with. Are we just watching some political speculation, or are we actually witnessing the careful, deliberate construction of a next-generation ticket, one designed to carry a whole political movement into the future? Now that is the provocative thought at the very heart of this story.